us, really. As sad as it is, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I know of cases where people were busy waiting for others to die so they could have their apartment. You wonder what type of legacy was left here. Oh, if they would die, that apartment would be open. I could have that room. Oh, well, Pastor, that doesn't happen. Just listen for a while. It happens every day. Where people are talking about, well, you know, if this apartment would come open, if that person in Crocus would die, if this room in Salem would come open. The person that's occupying that room, the person that's occupying that apartment is somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's aunt, somebody's uncle. That person in that room is a human being. What type of legacy have they left if this is all that people can think about now? There's countries that have discussed the concept of, you know, once a person gets to be like around 60, it might be better just to put them to sleep. What type of legacy does that leave? If you take the wisdom of the years out. See, we can all be something and we can all do something. Are we using the talents that God has given us? Are we doing all that we can to promote God's kingdom and to see that He and His Word stay foremost in other people's lives? Are we willing to say, you know, there's a better way? God has established a better way. Yeah, well, people get upset. Of course people get upset. But that doesn't matter. If you turn around and they're busy talking foolishness and you say, well, you know, as Christians, huh? Who wants to bring Christians into this? We were talking about, yeah, but we are Christians. Our lives should be governed according to the laws that we find in the Bible. We can all be something to somebody. Dorcas did. She was doing good and she was helping the poor. Peter could see that she had used her talent to make clothes to help the needy in the church. Now she's dying and they're all standing around mourning. And I don't think it was because, guess what, I'm not getting another pair of mitts. It was because this woman had impacted their life. This woman had impacted their life, and now they're standing there in their mourning because this woman has now died. Now, a lot of people in the church have talents, but a lot of people in the church aren't always dependable. For example, they sign up as a volunteer, but then they'll show up if they want to. Something else comes along that they feel is more important. Something else comes along that they feel is more exciting. Oh, well, guess what? I won't bother. There'll be others. Dorcas could have said, there'll be others. There's probably younger people. They could go out and chase sheep faster. Or whatever she had to do to get the wool. There's probably younger people that could, you know, they could clean and card and sew this stuff faster and quicker than I could. There's probably people that are better, you know, there might even be, maybe Lydia should do something. You know, Lydia was the seller of purple down by the river, so she obviously had lots of, she could maybe make clothes for the poor. It would have been so easy to pass it off. But Dorcas said, I can do this. I'm going to start my ministry by making clothes. And she did. But people in the church, they'll sign up to volunteer when something comes up and they don't show up. Why? Well, something else came along. Then they wonder why they're never receiving the things that they're believing God for. Oh, let's take this home, Pastor. Let's dig that knife in one step deeper while we're at it. See, God rewards the faithful. The Bible is very clear on that. Scripture says, in verse 36, that Dorcas was always doing good. Your payday from God might not come after 2 or 3 weeks. You know, some people say, well, I tried that, like Brian mentioned this morning. You know, I tried that. It didn't work. Your answer might not come in 2 or 3 weeks. It might take a bit longer. It might take a while. But if you keep using your talents for good, you keep using your talents for God, eventually you're going to reap the rewards for diligence and faithfulness. Do you know it might very well have been the love of the recipients of Dorcas's love that caused enough faith to be generated for her to be brought back to life? These people were standing around weeping. These people are standing around crying because this woman is dead. And it might very well have been their faith, their compassion that ended up being able to move and bring Dorcas back to life. A number of years ago, I was asked to be pallbearer at a funeral. I did it. And I thought it was one of the saddest funerals I'd ever been at. There's a total of probably 12 people there. The pallbearers, we didn't know her really. We knew who she was, but certainly didn't have a relationship with her. And when it was all over, it was like, that's it. If you want to go down to the cemetery, you can go. If not, we'll probably be burying her later on. And I was like, oh, how sad to have gone through this life. And you have to scrape 12 people together because nobody else will come. And we got phoned specifically saying, well, will you come so you can be pallbearer? Oh, I wouldn't have, but does this happen? These things happen. Is that the legacy we want to leave? Pastor, I thought this was Mother's Day. I thought this was a good message. This is a good message. It is a good message. So we can see what one woman could do. And she lived in a different time than we did. And thirdly, we can all leave something. We can be something, we can do something, we can all leave something. See, Dorcas left something that was far more valuable than a large estate. You know, some people are so busy, some fathers especially get so busy just trying to make more money so that when I'm gone, I'm going to leave this huge estate and I'll get like a big stone on my grave or something, I don't know. They work so hard because their whole life is spent to try and see what they can all get. But Dorcas left something that was far more valuable than a large estate. She left her life indelibly stamped on the lives or the pages of the lives of those people around her. Nobody forgot Dorcas. Her memory was kept alive in the memory of the people that was behind her. So what was her motivation? You know, we think, well, why was Dorcas doing this? It was her love for others that caused her to do this. Dorcas had the love of God flowing through her, and when she saw people, there was something within her that was stirred up, and she says, I want to help meet that place, that need. The love of God and a desire to His will should motivate us as well to leave something in other people's lives. Why do we do this? Why do we go when somebody that doesn't go to church phones? Why do we go? Because this might be their time for connection. Why do we go when? Because this might be the time. She left something in the lives of the people around her, and when she passed away, the people around her weren't ready to say goodbye yet. People were a priority for Dorcas, and our priority should always be to serve others. We should never allow ourselves to become so selfish or so self-centered that we don't have time for the people that God brings to us. Now, I recognize that not every person that comes into our life is somebody that God has brought. But we can pray and we can say, okay, Father, you bring the ones that I